A few weeks ago, Unity absolutely blew up the gaming industry and infuriated developers from indie to AAA, and now we have seen that they are throwing their CEO under the bus because Unity is saying goodbye to him after all of the backlash they have faced over the game install fees. I have a few different things that I want to show off, but before we get into the topic, if you enjoy the content I create, check out the links in the description, follow me on social media, and consider supporting through Patreon or via YouTube memberships. So I wanted to start off with this PC Mag article. It says that Unity is parting ways with the company's controversial CEO following weeks of backlash from the game development community. Now, I have talked about Unity a few times on the channel, but they caused waves in the gaming industry over their installation fee changes, and they did try to backtrack and apologize and say we didn't understand how this was going to affect people and we're so sorry for not being more transparent, but it came across as just very bland. It came across as a very heartless statement because they tried to say, oh, we're sorry for not listening to you, but they didn't ever want to listen to developers because they didn't ever reach out to developers and talk to them about, hey, if we changed our policy to this, how do you think this would affect your business? Like, they never even tried to consult with the people who they were affecting. But, yeah, they got absolutely destroyed over it, and now Unity's parting ways with the controversial CEO. According to Unity, John Riccitiello has decided to retire and step down as company CEO, president, and chairman, effective immediately. Unity didn't offer an explanation to his retirement, but the company's reputation took a dive last month after announcing a controversial plan for customers of its game engine. On top of the existing licensing costs, software devs could face paying an additional fee each time their game was installed on a device. And this was very clearly a response to gacha games and mobile titles because most gacha games end up using Unity, and it really seemed like they were trying to target those companies and those developers, not so much the indie devs that were still affected by this, and they didn't think that the backlash was going to be this massive. Honestly, the backlash took the internet by storm, so that's why I'm sure most of you already know of this situation. But now, after all of the weeks of trying to apologize and change their plans, they have just decided to throw this guy under the bus because that's very clearly what they're doing. It wasn't just this guy, John, who made all of these decisions. It clearly went through multiple people, months of planning, maybe even a year or 2 years of planning, but they decided, you know what, we are still facing backlash and we have to, pin the blame on someone, and it just happens to be this guy because, of course, he's the CEO, he's the president, he's the chairman. And it says the per install fee immediately faced a harsh reception from developers, especially since consumers can install a PC title multiple times over different devices, which would saddle game makers with more fees to pay. Yeah, if I had a PC game that was made on Unity and I installed it 4 times over, different devices, from what they were saying, that would have charged the developers, which of course is just insane and unacceptable on every single level that it could be. But they faced thousands of people saying things like, I'm not going to support you going forward, I'm not going to create games with Unity anymore, and they were facing absolutely massive boycotts. And even after their apology, they have lost so many customers and so many developers because they don't trust you anymore. Why would they trust you at this point? That is your plan. And usually when companies, announce major plans like this, they're not just going to leave them behind. They're not just going to leave them in the dust. They're going to slowly implement them and maybe change something so it doesn't completely represent their original plans. But in 5 years, I bet that they are going to have a system like this implemented. Just they did it slowly, piece by piece, brick by brick. And of course, the reason why they wanted to throw him under the bus, not just because he's the CEO and the president and the chairman, but because he is already a controversial figure in the gaming industry. This was from September, but Unity's CEO, making devs pay per install, tried to charge FPS gamers per bullet. I mean, he is truly a real life villain. He is someone who has many times in the past tried to suck every cent that he can from gamers. It says he once tried to make gamers pay for every bullet they would fire in an FPS game, which of course is just truly clown world. During a 2011 stockholder meeting, the ex-EA CEO, yes, he was also EA, tried to introduce paid gun magazines in games such as Battlefield during the heat of gameplay. When you are 6 hours into playing Battlefield and you run out of ammo in your clip and we ask you for $1 to reload, you're not really paying that price sensitive at that point in time. $1 per reload. It's just so insane that somebody would even suggest that. I understand companies need to make money, but when you are talking about games being then $60, now $70, you have special editions that are $90 to $100, collector's editions that can go upwards of $150, and you still expect people to pay per reload. $1 a reload, cents a bullet. You're going to lose any respect that you have. I mean, I don't respect this guy at all. I'm sure a lot of you guys do not respect him, and I can't really feel all that bad. I mean, he is an ex-EA CEO who wanted to charge gamers for bullets per reload. He's one of the key minds behind the game install fees that has really, really severely damaged the reputation that Unity has, and I can't really say I feel all that bad. We're going to have to see who ends up taking his place, what's going to happen. Unity has tapped James Whitehurst, a former executive at IBM and Red Hat, to act as interim CEO, but of course we do not know who the permanent one is. Like I always say, when we have interim CEOs, sometimes they can end up transitioning to a permanent CEO. It doesn't sound like that's going to be the case right now, but who knows? We'll have to see. But I'm sure that, there are plenty of developers out there rejoicing over this news. Maybe they will seriously take a look at the backlash and try to give developers what they need and try not to absolutely scam developers and ultimately hurt the industry. Only time will tell. But for now, that's all that I really had to discuss in this video. Let everyone know your thoughts in the comment section down below. If you enjoyed this, make sure to give it a like, share it, and subscribe to the channel. And of course, if you didn't, make sure to give it a dislike. I appreciate your support either way, but I will talk to you all again in the next video really soon.